Ever wonder what's really going on under the hood when you're talking to an AI? Well, today we're pulling back the curtain on the secret language of chatbots. This is the code, the blueprint that makes those incredibly complex conversations actually possible. We've all been there, right? You're deep in a chat with an AI, things are going great, and then bam, it completely forgets what you just talked about. It's super frustrating. But there's a fascinating reason why that happens, and as we're about to see, an even cleverer solution. And that right there gets us to the core challenge for anyone building with AI. Let's call it the AI conversation problem. How do you make a chat with a machine not just work sometimes, but be reliable and consistent every single time? Well, this issue actually has a name: prompt fragility. In the early days of large language models, changing just one or two words in your question could send the AI flying off in a completely different direction, often giving you a totally wrong answer. It was completely unpredictable, which made building stable apps on top of it a total nightmare. So, to solve this, we first need to get into the AI's head a little bit. We have to understand how they actually read our messages. And spoiler alert, it is nothing like how you and I read. Okay, here's the key thing you need to get. It's basically a three-step process. You type something, the AI smashes your sentence into little pieces called tokens, and then its one and only goal is to predict what the next most likely token should be. It's not understanding anything, not really. It's all just a high-stakes probability game. And this whole process is called tokenization. So when you think about it, the AI isn't seeing words or sentences. It's seeing a long string of numbers, these tokens. And that is a huge aha moment, right? The AI is speaking math, not English. And that's exactly why a lack of structure can confuse it so easily. So how in the world did developers fix this fundamental problem? Well, they had to transform the whole craft of talking to an AI, taking it from a messy, unpredictable art form and turning it into a precise, reliable engineering discipline. And just look at this comparison. It tells the whole story. On the left, you have the art. It's this one big, jumbled instruction. It's messy. On the right, you have the engineering. It's clean, it's structured with clear labels for who's who. Which one do you think a machine is going to prefer? It's a no-brainer. And that right there is the solution. To get rid of all that ambiguity, to kill the guesswork, developers created a kind of universal blueprint for AI conversations. And that blueprint is called ChatML. All right, so let's pop the hood on this ChatML blueprint and see exactly how it works, piece by piece. What makes it tick? So ChatML, it stands for Chat Markup Language. And really, it's just a simple text format that gives the AI a structured map of the conversation. Think of it like a simplified coding language, but just for chatbots. It uses these special little tags and role names to make everything crystal clear. It really all boils down to three core components. You've got these special tokens, like curly bracket, I'm start, and curly bracket, I'm end. Think of them like punctuation for the AI. They mark exactly where a message begins and ends. Then you have role identifiers that label who is speaking, and of course, you have the actual message itself. And these roles, they are absolutely key. There are four of them. The system role is kind of like the director. It sets the AI's personality and instructions. The user role, well, that's you. The assistant is the AI's reply. And then there's a tool role, which is for when the AI needs to use an external program to get information. This clean separation of duties is what makes the whole thing so powerful. And here is what a full conversation looks like in practice. Just look at how clean that is. There is zero ambiguity here. The system sets the stage, the user asks the question, and the assistant gives the answer. Every single part is neatly wrapped in those start and end tokens. It's perfectly machine-readable and totally predictable. So that's the how. But why is this so incredibly important? Let's zoom out a little and look at how this simple blueprint is helping developers build the entire next generation of reliable AI. Now, you might be thinking, doesn't all this extra structure add a ton of baggage? Doesn't it slow things down? And you know what? That's a fair question, but it's actually incredibly efficient. We're only talking about 3 to 4 extra tokens per message. That is a tiny, tiny price to pay for this level of clarity. And what's really cool is that this isn't just an OpenAI thing. While some models like Anthropic's Claude need a little bit of tweaking, the core idea of ChatML has become a de facto industry standard. You've got other big models using it natively. It's creating a common language for all these different AIs to speak. So, why does all this matter for the future? Well, first, this structure is what makes long back and forth conversations possible without the AI losing its mind. It's also the foundation for all the advanced training techniques, like fine tuning, where you teach the AI with examples, and reinforcement learning, where you basically give it a thumbs up for good answers. Plus, it makes everything so much easier to debug when things inevitably go wrong. And that brings us to the main takeaway, which is summed up perfectly in this quote from Ranjan Kumar. ChatGML transforms conversational AI from an art into an engineering discipline. It simply brings predictable, reliable order to what was once chaos. Which leaves us with one final and really exciting thought. Now that we have this reliable blueprint for AI conversations, a true language for machines, what incredible things are we going to build next?